Well, welcome to Third and Three, another episode here as we finish the year 2025. And we're making predictions this week about what 2026 will be. And our next topic, we've already done finance and we've done technology, and you can view those on our page. But we're going to talk tonight, guys, about geopolitical predictions. But first, I want to introduce you guys. Right there in the center, I'd like you to meet Mr. Kurt Nelson. Say hi, Kurt.
Howdy.
And there over on the right, Mr. Mark
Belcher.
Mark, say hello, Mark.
Hello.
Okay, boys, we're going to just jump into it, okay? So my 2026 geopolitical prediction is that the Russian-Ukraine war keeps going, that it's still happening at the end of 2026.
Wow.
But it's very static, meaning there's very little being done. And part of that is, in my mind, the casualty rates, both countries are running out of weapons and money. And so from what I can tell over the last year, there's been very little advancement, like massive changes in real estate between the two sides. However, I still think they are quite distant from one another in their negotiations. The Russians want way too much. The Ukrainians are like, no way, we're not even going to touch this. And I know Trump's in there trying to push both sides to kind of see where the other one's coming from, but I don't think he's having a lot of success. I think the entire continent of Europe's behind the Ukrainians, so they do have some support. And the Russians, I don't think Putin can give up without at least getting the Crimea and what he wants from this war. I don't think he's going to give in. So, despite the fact
you
that
think in the campaign when Trump said he would solve it on day one, he meant January 1st, 2027.
I think that's what he meant.
And your prediction
the first
is
day of 27.
We're going to see the same thing we've seen for the last 2 years.
I do. If anything, maybe it's even chiller. Like I just think both countries are running out of resources. They have pounded on each other for what is it now? Since 22, right? February of 22. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's about right.
So we're coming up here on 4 years.
Yeah.
But if you're taking $5,000 drones and sending them over the border, it's not. And you've got, like you said, most of Europe backing you.
And that's just Uber Eats.
That's a lot of drones. You think they're delivering some Polish sausage or what?
Yeah. That's racist. All right.
All right. Next, hey, Mark, you give us your 2026 geopolitical prediction.
Yeah. So Ukraine, I have no idea. That one, I think the longer it goes, the better it is for Europe. It's horrible for Ukraine, but yeah. I mean, depleting Russia of all their money and resources and human capital is a boon for the future of, what you're worried about from Russia. Right. That being said, I hope the war ends. I think, Middle East is going to be interesting as always. What's going on with Iran right now is, are they building weapons of mass destruction? Are we going to bomb them again? I don't know. But so far, that doesn't seem to impact that as much as you would think. Historically, something like that happens, and it feels like the sky is falling. Today, it's just kind of like another day in the life. I think the big one, though, is China still. It's the trade war. It's about precious metals. It's about AI. It's about Taiwan. It's about, what it seems like China has a lot of cards where other people don't necessarily, and they're not afraid to use them. And so I think that's a big one. And I think that potentially could impact, as I was saying in our previous episode on finance, if China decides to play hardball, our economy won't be crushed, but the stock market will definitely take a hit. So I do worry about that. I also worry about cyber warfare, coming from having worked in that space for a long time. Uh, the bad guys are getting really good. I think there's companies like CrowdStrike that are doing amazing things with AI that can get ahead of that, but not everybody has CrowdStrike. A lot of people still are on old technology,
Not
and they're going to
sponsored.
get and they're going to get owned. If they're on Kaspersky or
Yeah.
We're not
something.
sponsored by CrowdStrike,
Yes,
Yeah.
but they can.
yeah. So I do worry about the dollar weakening and what that means for us around the world, the lack of trust, the U.S. deficit, all those things impact geopolitical presence, and the world not trusting us to be the policeman, which I don't necessarily think we ever should have been or should be perceived as the world policeman, but we have lost a lot of trust with our allies. So that's impacted.
Belch, what do you think? So you talk about the Chinese. What moves might they make that they didn't make this year, and why didn't they make them this year? And what
Well, they
would, in
started
your
to.
mind?
Yeah, just on precious metals, if they played hardball there, we'd be in trouble. We just don't have it, and we can't mine it, and it's super dirty.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know we are pushing hard aggressively, but it's still a 5-year thing.
Yeah.
But I've heard that the Australians.
How long does it take to dig a hole? I mean, come on.
That's
4
like
years to get
that's
the
like a couple-hour job, right?
4 years to get the appropriate paperwork and an afternoon to dig the hole.
Well, better yet, we should just dig to China.
Hey.
Okay,
so Belch, what was your prediction other than China's going to be more important?
I think my prediction is pain. I think that I think the world. I think that there's a lot of Venezuela's big. It's like I think as far as geopolitical, there's a lot of things up in the air, and not all of them are going to land softly.
Didn't Clubber Lang predict pain?
He did. He is the Nostradamus of the 80s.
All right, Mr.
Anything else, Belch?
Nope, that's it.
Okay,
All right.
your 2026 prediction.
All right, mine's going to be probably surprise these two gentlemen and the throngs of viewers we have. But I think the backlash of the extreme political left will continue. I think it'll start to rear its head more in, believe it or not, Europe in the next year. The sustainability, I think, of very little rules around immigration and financial policy will start to bite back. At the same time, I think some of the countries that have gone extreme right will see those wells start to run dry as well. And I think we'll start angling back towards the middle, which would be great.
Boy, I'd love that prediction.
That's what I wonder is like how much of the pain that we dealt with this year I think about AI and stuff, and there's all kinds of things. Like Belcher, you listed quite a few potential problems in the world. Does some of that actually, do we get better, or does everything turn to a worse scenario? Or
Sure.
I'm just trying to think, like, how optimistic can we be, and when are we being foolish by being that optimistic, and when is it like, no, you gotta look at, some of this is gonna work its way out.
I didn't list it because it's a stretch, but I think Greenland will be our 51st state.
Okay.
For the low price of
$500 billion. You give each person $10 million. There's 51,000 people there. It comes out to $510 billion. Cheap.
That would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you serious about that at all? Like,
no.
do you think?
No.
Okay.
No, I think
Okay. Well,
I got to think Venezuela's got to end at some point. What are we going to actually send troops in there and steal their oil? I don't think that's going to happen. So
no.
I think that's just trying to play hard in our own hemisphere. I think honestly, I can't predict Ukraine, Russia. I'm glad that you were able to predict it's not going to end, that, I guess. But the only one is the outliers. China's the big one to me. They can make us have a tough year.
Yes. No, they can if they push all their cards in the middle and take. And that's the reason I asked you that question. Is like, what motivates China to act this year that didn't make them act this past year?
Well, I think a lot of countries are opening new trade routes. So I mean, the routes that were in place for the last 50 years are now being re-looked at, and countries are making new allies. And I don't see how that helps the United States in the long run. I think we're probably overplaying our hand on that front, including China. And China's the one that has cards. So that's the one that scares me the most.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say China, you mean China.
I do. Yes.
What percent of Chinese exports does the U.S. represent?
A lot. 30%. I mean, I would guess 20 to 30%.
I mean, that's not an easy segment to go replace easily, right? There's only so many Germans that can buy crap.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Or Japanese, or
I mean, we buy honestly, a lot of stuff.
If they decide to hold back their precious metals, we will lower that tariff.
Yeah. No, I agree that we would, they can cause us to bend the knee. I just don't know if they'll stop shipping us stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, then there's a whole nother topic as far as U.S. deficit and just money stores in the United States, and credit's getting very high. There's a lot of things there, but the economy starts getting soft, and if the markets start going down and things like that, you'll see this administration start changing their tack on a lot of issues.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. I mean, again, China did play that card this year by saying, "Hey, we're gonna hold back these precious metals," and it seemed like Trump just immediately said, "Okay, 200% tariffs."
But then he went back down. I mean, he waffled on. We still don't have an agreement with him.
Right. One day, he did it for one day.
No. I'm just saying, because I think the Chinese went, yes, that's exactly what we wanted. We want to whittle down our tariffs, so we had to play this big card. Will they ever really play it? Because I mean, we have cards as well, and
we'll see. The Venezuela oil thing is actually a pretty big thing for China. They get a lot of oil from there. So there's a lot of moving parts right now that affect a lot of people.
For sure. No doubt about it.
I think we're all going to prove Bill Gates, one of his most famous sayings was that humans vastly overestimate what they can do in a year and vastly underestimate what they can do in 10 years.
Yeah.
I think at least most of my predictions were pretty bullish on what can happen in a year.
Yes.
For sure. Yes.
Well, stay tuned for our next episode on the Epstein files.
We have billions of documents to go over.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. It's guys, thank you for your insights. We will see. Time will tell. 2026, I agree with almost everything said here at some level, which is there's a lot going on in the world, and some of that can go sideways, and some of it truly could be amazing breakthroughs. And so let's hope for the breakthroughs and that cooler heads prevail, and that 2026 is a great year that we all can look forward to. But anyways, I thank you on behalf of these two guys, and we will see you on our next episode.
And I think I speak for everyone when I say Merry New Year.
Oh, nice.
Or Happy New Year.
Yes. Merry New Year. Coming to America.
Peace.
Out.